Hey guys, we're doing Taiga. My name's Ofri.
I'm Gemma. So taiga is also known as a coniferous or boreal forest, and it's actually the largest terrestrial biome on Earth.
It does have multiple limiting factors because it's really, really cold. So as you can imagine, plants can't really grow because it's pretty freezing cold. And that means the soil quality is also very poor because it is so cold.
So this is a climatogram. It just shows the different temperatures at different points in the year.
Some fun facts about taiga is that it is the Russian word for forest, the largest terrestrial biome on Earth.
So the climate is pretty dramatic throughout the year. In the winter, it's really, really cold, and the temperatures can go to negative 20 degrees Celsius. And then in the summers, it's really hot and humid, and there really is not in between seasons, so the spring and fall are super short.
So for location, it is found across Canada, Russia, Norway, and Korea. Animals and plants, lakes and swamps serve as habitats for all aquatic animals, and then the terrestrial habitats are for animals, for example, like bobcats and gray wolves, red fox.
So in other biomes, there's shrubs and flowers, but in the taiga, there's mosses, lichens, and mushrooms that cover the flora of the taiga. And these organisms can grow directly from the ground, and they have really shallow roots, which makes it perfect for the winter time, and they can survive with low water levels and low sunlight.
These are another example, but in the winter, it's so cold that they escape and fly to the south.
So an adaptation that is pretty common in the taiga is a lot of the larger mammals. In the summer, they have brown fur, but then in the winter, since everything is covered in snow, they shed their brown fur and they it turns white, so then they can camouflage with the snow. And then another transition to winter is that the shrews and rodents burrow underground for protection.
So the conifer adaptation is that the shape of the leaves are kind of like needles, pretty pointy, and they're really waxy, so that way water in the winter can like drip down and the plant can still survive. Both the shape and like the waxiness helps with this. Here's just like the picture. And another picture.
So a huge problem and threat to the taiga biome is clear cutting. This doesn't just affect the taiga biome, it affects a lot of other biomes too, but it's especially important in this biome because most of the wildlife relies on the trees to survive, and when they're cut down, it destroys the habitats of many, many organisms. And it doesn't just affect the animals, it affects the land too, so it increases erosion, and then this causes unstable trees and like soil, so it's like the ground is not stable and just things can't grow as well. So we couldn't find specific key ecosystem functions to our biome, but these are just general ones that are really important to other ecosystems. Number one is pollination. It's important because it's the interaction between plants like flowers and other things, animals like bees, the actual pollinators, and then additionally abiotic factors like wind. So those three come together to do pollination. Another one is the disturbance regulation, which is the ability of an ecosystem to adapt to disturbances like strong winds. And I think this is present in the taiga biome because they definitely do suffer harsh winters and dramatic climate changes.
The next thing is organisms interactions. This is just like an example of a food web, as you can see, that is present in the taiga biome. Some keystone species are Scott pines because squirrels and mice depend on them for food, but also like mosses depend on this tree for like a place to grow. So there are different animal interactions.
So an example of the interaction is commensalism, and like we said before, the Scots pine, because it gives the mosses a place to grow and it really benefits them, but it doesn't really affect the tree, the pine.
So another example is mutualism, where like both benefit. So for example, flowers are benefiting when bees pollinate them, and the bees are benefiting because they're getting food.
Example of this is the winter tick in the taiga. So it sucks blood from the moose, and it's beneficial for the ticks because they get food as blood, but it's really harmful for the moose and it causes diseases and things like that.
Both the ox and the caribou can like have a very, very similar diet, so they compete for the same food. So this is an example of competition.
And then there's predation. So this is an example of this is the bobcat and the snowshoe hare. So the bobcat is the predator of the snowshoe hare. Here the bobcats keep the snowshoe hares in check.
Next is the dangers. Here's just like a picture.
An example of clear cutting. So you can really see how it destroys the ecosystem.
Endangered species in the taiga are beavers.
And some of the laws to help them survive are prevention of logging, mining, and oil production. So those things really do destroy the habitat of the beavers and reduce their numbers significantly. Here's our works cited page.
Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Subscribe!